Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
Here's the 3-1. Peralta swings, hits it on the ground, through the left side into base hit. Cronenworth rounding third, on his way. Ramos' throw will go to second. RBI single, David Peralta. And the Padres are back in front. It's 3-2.
David Peralta puts the Padres ahead in the top of the 10th inning, and that helps propel the Padres to a 4-3 win in San Francisco on this Sunday afternoon. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Welcome into our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. The Padres break out the brooms in San Francisco. They sweep this 3-game series from the Giants. They needed 2 runs in the top half of the 10th inning to do it. Peralta making it a 3-2 game with that RBI single in the top of the 10th inning. Padres got a very important insurance run in the top of the 10th inning, and they go on to win this game by a final score of 4-3. The Padres are now 85-65 in 2024. They are 20 games above 500 for the first time in a long time. In fact, for the first time in nearly a decade and a half. The Padres have not been 20 games above 500 since 2010. The Giants, with the defeat, dropped to 72-78. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. We'll also go through the radio highlights, recap this game from start to finish, get into our daily awards, take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, let you know what's going on in the wild card and NL West standings. But just quickly on this game, this was a really well-pitched game for most of the day. Martin Perez, really, really good today. Pitched into the 6th inning. 5+ innings, 1 run given up. We had a 1-1 game going to the top half of the 8th inning. That's when Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a go-ahead pinch hit home run. The first pinch hit homer of his major league career, made it 2-1. Padres had that 2-1 lead heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Robert Suarez gives up a home run to Elliot Ramos, the first ever right-handed hitter to hit one into McCovey Cove, a splash home run. First time it's ever been done at Oracle Park. That tied the game at 2, but then Suarez did a good job, got through the rest of that inning, kept it tied at 2. And as the Padres have done so often in extra innings here in 2024, in what has been a total reversal from what we saw from this team in 2023, the name of the game in the 10th inning was execution. Padres get the automatic runner on second base. David Peralta not trying to do too much, just singles through the left side of the infield. RBI base hit makes it 3-2. And again, we talk about execution. Padres later in that inning have runners on second and third base, 1 out. Donovan Solano puts a ball in play to third base. He'd rather get it in the air there, but hey, ground ball in play to third. Forces Matt Chapman to make a play, doesn't make a great throw to home. Run comes in to make it 4-2. And the Padres, again, executed really nicely in that top of the 10th inning. Got 2 runs instead of the just 1 run. That ended up being a big deal. They take that 4-2 lead and they hang on for a 4-3 win. How about the difference a year makes in extra innings? Think about this. The Padres are now 9-1 in extra innings this season. Do you remember what their record was in extra innings a year ago? Do you remember how extra inning games absolutely plagued the 2023 Padres? They were 2-12 in extra innings in 2023. So what a difference a year makes. Quite an important turnaround for this team in extra innings here in 2024, and it's been just one of the examples of things. This team has done a whole lot better this season than they did a year ago. Not to harp on last year here on September 15th. It's not about last year, but it is worth bringing up when we talk about extra innings. I mean, it's just a good example of another element to this 2024 Padre ball club that has really been terrific. terrific. And again, 20 games above 500. They've already got a little help in the wild card today. They might get some more. We'll get to that all coming up a little bit later during the out-of-town scoreboard. But the Padres find a way to sweep the Giants. Final score, Padres 4, Giants 3. When we come back, we have all the radio highlights for you. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do on our post-game coverage on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Padres win it in 10 in San Francisco. Final score, Padres 4 and the Giants 3. We'll go back to Oracle Park, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. We'll also have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, get into our daily awards, and much, much more to do as we wrap this one up. Padres improved to 85 and 65 with the win. Again, 20 games above 500 for the first time since the 2010 season. How about this? Padres are now 5 wins away from hitting 90 with still 12 games remaining in the season. Wow, if somebody would have told you that at the start of the year, you would have taken it. Padres have work to do, there's no doubt about it, but very, very good job this weekend in San Francisco. Again, we'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a bit. First, let's recap this game from the first inning through the 10th inning.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
We absolutely had a pitcher's duel early on. Both Martin Perez and Landon Roop were dealing. Roop pitched 2 scoreless innings to begin his outing. Perez pitched a perfect 2 innings to start his day. The Padres got 2 on with nobody out in the top of the third, but they did not score. In the bottom half of the inning, Perez got the first 2 outs. Then Jake Cronenworth made a great play.
1-1 pitch, hit on a line to the right side. Diving stop, Cronenworth on the grass. Throws from his knees in time. And a 1-2-3 third for Perez, thanks to his second baseman, Jacob Cronenworth. What a play.
So Martin Perez was through 3 perfect innings. It would stay a scoreless game. Roop went 5 scoreless innings. Perez also went 5 scoreless frames. Giants reliever Spencer Bivens came on for the top of the 6th inning. Luis Ariz hit a leadoff single. Donovan Solano then hit a ground ball to first base. Mark Canha couldn't field it cleanly. Solano was safe at first base, an error on Canha. Jerkson Profar then laid down a sacrifice bunt. That got Ariz to third base, and Solano to second. Manny Machado was next.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Manny swings, sends it in the air to right center field. Yastrzemski drifting back into the gap. He'll reach up, make the catch. Plenty deep to get Ariz home. Solano will also tag in advance, a sacrifice fly, and the Padres have the first run of the day.
That's all the Padres scored in the inning, so they had a 1-0 lead after 5.5. And with the way the game was going and the way the Padres bullpen has been as of late, you thought maybe that would be the only run they would need today. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, Martin Perez took the mound. The number 9 batter, Donovan Walton, started the inning for the Giants.
Here's the 0-1. Walton swings, sends it in the air to right center field. Long run there, still going back. He is at the wall, and this one going to go. Boy, the wind looked like it just grabbed it and took it over the fence in right center field. Donovan Walton with his first home run of the year, and a 1-1 game in the 6th.
That was it for Perez. Jeremiah Estrada came in. He struck out 2 in a row, gave up a double, but he got a fly out to end the inning. Taylor Rogers threw a scoreless top of the 7th inning. Tanner Scott did the same in the bottom half of the 7th inning. He got some help from Elias Diaz, who threw out a runner trying to steal to end the frame. So he went to the 8th inning, still tied at 1. Tyler Rogers came in to pitch for San Francisco. Fernando Tatis Jr. got a scheduled day off today. Wasn't in the Padres lineup, but he was available off the bench. Mike Shildt had him pinch hit for Elias Diaz to begin the top of the 8th inning.
First pitch on the way. Tatis swings, sends it in the air to deep left field. Ramos is back. This one gonna go. First career pinch hit home run, and Fernando puts the Padres in front 2-1.
What a moment for Fernando Tatis Jr., a 2-1 Padres lead, his 18th home run of the season on the very first pitch he saw in that 8th inning. Jason Adam pitched the 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th inning. Padres couldn't tack on in the top of the 9th despite getting a 2-out walk and a stolen base from Xander Bogaerts. Not getting that insurance run ended up being costly. Robert Suarez entered for the bottom of the 9th inning. Elliot Ramos led off.
3-2 in the air to right field and deep. Peralta is back. He will watch. It's going to go. Elliot Ramos into McCovey Cove. A game-tying homer to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 2-2.
Not only did that home run tie the game at 2, Ramos became the first ever right-handed batter to hit a home run into McCovey Cove. Hit one into the water on the fly, a splash hit home run for Ramos. Never happened in the history of the stadium. It tied the game at 2. Suarez then retired the next 3 batters to end the inning. So we went to extra innings. Jake Cronenworth was the Padres' automatic runner on second base in the top of the 10th. Camilo Doval pitching for the Giants. David Peralta started the inning for San Diego.
Here's the 3-1. Peralta swings, hits it on the ground through the left side of the base hit. Cronenworth rounding third, on his way. Ramos' throw will go to second. RBI single, David Peralta. And the Padres are back in front. It's 3-2.
So a big swing for David Peralta, a 3-2 lead, but as we always talk about in the extra innings, you love to get some more. Padres thankfully weren't done. Luis Ariz hit a 1-out double. That sent Peralta to third base. Donovan Solano then hit a ground ball to third. Matt Chapman's throw home was wide of the plate. Peralta scored. The Giants catcher, Patrick Bailey, actually made a good play. He abandoned the plate, then threw to first base, so they got Solano there, but it was an RBI ground out. The Padres led 4-2. And they got that crucial second run in the top of the 10th inning. Why was that second run so important? Well, Adrian Morejon came on for the Padres in the bottom of the 10th inning. Mike Yastrzemski was the Giants' automatic runner at second base. Morejon got a ground out. Yastrzemski went to third base. Then Michael Conforto pinch hit for Brett Wisely. He hit a fly ball to deep left field. Brandon Lockridge tracked it down, made the catch, but that did allow Yastrzemski to tag up and score from third. So all of of a sudden, it was a 4-3 game. 2 outs, nobody on. Patrick Bailey at the plate for San Francisco. The Padres led 4-3. Morahone on the mound.
0-1 pitch. Bailey swings. It's a ground ball to third base. Solano scoops it up. Throw across the diamond in time, and the ball game is over. Padres beat the Giants 4-3 in 10. They have come to San Francisco and swept the series.
What a win for the Padres here today. In the final in 10, Padres 4 and the Giants 3. As the Padres sweep the Giants at Oracle Park, they're 85-65 on the year. Giants drop to 72-78. Let's go up to San Francisco and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Like we've talked this season about the team's ability to respond in moments when it needs to. What do you see as having led to that? Why is this team so good at doing that?
It's got a hunger to win and compete. You know, when you're going to compete regardless of situation, you're going to always be in ball games. You're not going to take anything for granted, not going to give anything away. You're going to take everything that you have an opportunity to do in competition. It's just a hungry group that loves to play baseball and loves to compete.
I know you're focused on the game in front of you, but this weekend did give you guys an opportunity. There were so many teams kind of playing each other to gain ground, and you could just, if you win, you take advantage of that opportunity. Is that something that you feel good to have taken advantage of? Yeah,
we play to win every day. We just play, we ultimately play ourselves. We play our game, and we play against an opponent that we respect, and that's what we use our time and energy and everything we can within things we can control.
Your guys' success in extra innings, do you just see that as an extension of how you guys play normally by contact and that sort of thing?
Yes, sir, I do. It's about execution, right? When you get into close games, it's about execution. You got guys that are looking to play the game right, as Toddy would say, do what the game calls for. It's all about the situations and being able to execute. That's what this is about.
We could talk first about Adrian Morahone's season, right? He was going high leverage, multi-innings, then kind of got the new guys, and now he's been able to here a couple times pick you guys up at the end of games. How has Adrian responded?
Fantastic. I mean, it speaks to the depth of the bullpen. We talked about it, a fair amount. Adrian and Estrada, who also was really good today, Jeremiah. You get Adam on board, Scott on board, Suarez. Those guys were big parts of our season early on before we obtained some of those guys, and now they're in different roles. But like I've said, when sometimes those guys aren't available, they can take other spots. Whether again it's early or again in today's game when those guys have been used. It's nice to go to Adrian in that 10th inning with a power arm. He was outstanding last night. He was efficient last night. Alec Jacob throwing like he did last night also set us up for success again with 2 clean innings. But him being efficient last night allowed him to come back on another day, and he threw the ball really well. Ball's jumping out of his hand. Done a great job for us.
With this power and aggressiveness to the plate, what has Tatis brought to this line that was already pretty productive before?
Yeah, that was a big swing, right? Picked our moment. We didn't want him to do a whole lot today. We knew there was going to be a couple spots where he could show up. He was on board to do it. Trying to stay away from him. He feels good, by the way. It's not anything other than, we've just been really mindful about his workload going into what he's coming from. So him being able to come off that bench is a nice weapon, and he didn't waste any time. Jumped on it and put a good swing on it. Clearly a big swing.
With Robert, I know the velocity's still there. Clearly the last month hasn't been what the first few were. What do you see happening there?
Human. I mean, he basically was subhuman, the first however many parts of the season. He's balls coming out good. I mean, guys are taking him, blocking balls. I'm not, give him credit to him, put a good swing, a bit of bat together. But, they're just catching enough balls to take some opposite field shots. And again, it's a hard thing to do, and they've been able to do it. But, he's throwing 99, 100, 101. His stuff's really good, so it's part of the game over the course of the season. You're going to give up a few balls to get barreled, and it's going to be shown up when you pitch the 9th inning. So, a couple of times he shows up, he gets magnified, but I will take him tomorrow in a 1-run game, I can tell you that.
I think you mentioned uncharted territory with Tatis when he first came back, just in terms of figuring out how to kind of navigate when he's still healing. But how are you approaching this right now, like when a given starts off like this?
Yeah, I mean, we partner with him in the medical group. You know, we've got a loose calendar of what this looks like. We were able to follow it. You know, we knew going into this series that today was a day he was likely to get off and then be ready to go until the next day off, depending on how he feels. So, you know, we've agreed to just medical team's been great. He's been great. You know, the doctors have been fantastic. We're just doing a holistic way of looking at this and making sure we keep him fresh and we stay ahead of it because we don't want it to go backwards, obviously.
What Perez has done for you guys? What does that mean?
Oh, man, he was great. He was really good. You know, threw the ball well, change of speed, changeup was good again today. You know, cutter in, threw the ball in. I like the fact he threw the ball into the righties, opened up some of their way stuff. I thought he threw the ball really well. You know, he put a swing on him to start the sixth, and you know, and didn't end on as good a note. But so in the second hit, I thought he was fantastic, get us in the sixth, and gave us more than a chance, which we did to win a ball game.
Was that like the perfect situation in that your higher leverage guys were all rested and he hadn't pitched in 10 days?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good spot. I mean, you know, look, the pitch count does factor in at that point. But, you know, the top of their lineup hits lefties. So, you know, it was a great opportunity to finish up and go to Dodo Estrada, who was really good. So, you know, he did his job, that's for sure.
Talked a lot about Xander moving over to short. Jake made quite a few plays today.
Man,
Just wonder what he gives you at second.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was remiss yesterday to really celebrate the defense yesterday, in particular Jake. But I mean, Toddy made a great play. Jake made a great play. Manny makes a usual great play. You know, Solano got up on the line drive. Profar's play yesterday. But man, Crony, gosh darn, what a play yesterday. Big play in the ninth yesterday to make sure we don't have to go to the bullpen today. You know, he's just making plays all over the field. Just a ball player, man. You know, he took good at bats today. He's just really had 2 back-to-back complete games. Did a really nice job for us.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 4-3 win against the Giants in 10 innings. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. I agree with Mike. The defense today for the Padres was really good. Jake Cronenworth made a sparkling play at second base. His defense at second, I think, has been very, very good since shifting back over there with Bogarts at shortstop. Padres win it 4-3. We'll have the full out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later. But just so you know, Jackson Chourio just hit a 2-run triple in the 10th inning in Arizona for the Brewers. So the Brewers now leading 10-8 in the 10th inning in Arizona. We'll keep you posted on that score as we go along here on the post-game coverage. Final score in 10, Padres 4, Giants 3. Post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Padres win it 4-3 in 10 innings in San Francisco. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. As we wrap this one up, we'll take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a handful of minutes, so stay tuned for that. We'll also have our player of the game, play of the game. This is going to be a bit of a speed run here for the rest of the post-game, as we got to get to Sunday Night Football, the Bears and the Texans in Houston kicking off at 5:20. Don't worry, we've got plenty of Padres talk still, but we are going to go a little bit quicker here than usual. Let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Our relief pitcher of the game here today, we'll give it to Adrian Morejon. Shut the door in the 10th inning, picked up his second major league save. And look, you'll look at his line, you'll see he gave up a run, although it was unearned. The automatic runner in Yastrzemski came in the 10th inning. But the reason I give it to Adrian, keep this in mind. The three batters he faced, ground out, fly out, ground out. So what more did you want Adrian to do aside from maybe strike out a batter or two and not allow that automatic run to score? Look, that's why it's so important you score the 2 runs in the top of the inning instead of just the 1 run, because it gives you a little wiggle room in case that automatic runner comes in to score, which it did. That's why getting the second run was so critically important for the Padres in that 10th inning and in this game today. And to me, Morejon, he faced 3 batters, he retired all 3. And ultimately, that's what you want to do in that 10th inning, secures a 4-3 win. So for that reason, Adrian Morejon picking up his second save of the season, our relief pitcher of the game. When we come back, a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our player of the game, much more to do on our post-game coverage. Again, the Padres win it 4-3 against the Giants in 10 innings as they sweep the Giants in San Francisco. More after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score in 10 innings in San Francisco. The Padres 4 and the Giants 3. As the Padres sweep the Giants in San Francisco, they go 4-1 on this 5-game road trip to Seattle and San Francisco. Padres 85-65 on the year, 20 games above 500 for the first time since 2010. So they took care of business this weekend, exactly what you wanted them to do. They've got some help on the out-of-town scoreboard throughout the weekend as well. And speaking of the out-of-town scoreboard, let's tell you what's going on this Sunday around the major leagues.
Let's take a trip around the bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
Let's start with the game going on right now in Arizona. Wild game. Brewers trailed in that game 5-0. They then took a lead. Then the Diamondbacks tied it to send it to extra innings. The Brewers, like we told you, 10 minutes ago? Jackson Chourio, a 2-run triple to put Milwaukee ahead 10-8 in the 10th inning. Well, the Diamondbacks right now have the bases loaded. Nobody out. They've already scored a run in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Christian Walker at the plate. The tying run on third, the go-ahead run on second. I'm paying attention to the game. We'll let you know what happens there. Obviously, if you're a Padres fan, you are rooting for the Brew Crew right now. The other game going on, another one that has major implications for the Padres, Dodgers and the Braves in Atlanta. They are scoreless in the third inning there. Everything else has gone final today. Tigers beat the Orioles 4-2 in Detroit. Twins beat the Reds 9-2 in Minnesota. It was the Yankees 5, the Red Sox 2 in New York. The Pirates beat the Royals 4-3 in Pittsburgh. Nationals beat the Marlins 4-3 in D.C. Phillies beat the Mets 2-1 in Philadelphia. JT Realmuto, a walk-off hit in that game in the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Phillies helping out the Padres there with the Mets losing. Blue Jays beating the Cardinals 3-2 in Toronto. Guardians beat the Rays 2-0 in Cleveland. White Sox won a second in a row. They beat the A's 4-3. Cubs beat the Rockies 6-2 in Colorado. Astros beat the Angels 6-4 in Anaheim. Mariners beat the Rangers 7-0 in Seattle. That's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday. And by the way, Christian Walker, he walked with the bases loaded. The Diamondbacks have tied the game at 10-10 in the 10th inning. They've now got the winning run 90 feet away on third base. So right now, the Brewers not helping out these Padres. Had a chance to close it out here in the 10th inning. We'll keep you posted on what happens in Arizona. Padres win it 4-3 against the Giants in 10. Let's tell you about today's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Paddy's and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game, we'll give it to... You know what? We're going to give it to Martin Perez. We'll save Peralta for our next segment. Martin Perez, I thought really good today. 5 scoreless innings to begin the day. Gave up a home run to begin the 6th inning. That was the only blemish on his resume today. 69 pitches, 5+ innings, 1 run given up on just 2 hits. I thought Martin was really good once again. So even though he gets a no decision in this game, we'll give our player of the game to Martin Perez for a really, really nice start on this Sunday in San Francisco. By the way, unfortunately, the Diamondbacks just won, and my mistake on that. Christian Walker got hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to tie the game, and I'm not sure who hit that for Arizona, but somebody just hit one off the right field fence. I think it was Eugenio Suarez did it. Yeah, it was Suarez. So the Diamondbacks win that game in Arizona 11-10. What does that mean for the Padres in the wild card standings? We'll tell you more about that when we come back. Also, hear our play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Padres win it 4-3 against the San Francisco Giants in 10 innings as the Padres sweep the Giants over this 3-game series. They go 4-1 on this 5-game road trip to Seattle and San Francisco. It's another beautiful day for a ball game and Military Sunday at that. San Diego County Toyota dealers are proud partners of the Padres and supporters of San Diego's military community. Thank you to all military members for your incredible service. Once again, we have Sunday Night Football coming up in just a little bit here on 97.3 The Fan. Caleb Williams and the Bears against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. But before we get you ready for that and wrap things up on the Padres side of things, let's hear today's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Here's the 3-1. Peralta swings, hits it on the ground, through the left side into base hit. Cronenworth rounding third, on his way. Ramos's throw will go to second. RBI single, David Peralta. And the Padres are back in front. It's 3-2.
David Peralta, the go-ahead RBI single in the 10th inning to make it 3-2. That'll be our play of the game. Big hit, drove in the run, but again, the Padres got that second run in the 10th inning on the Solano ground out. That was after Luis Arraez hit a one-out double to send Peralta to third base. Then Peralta scored on the ground out from Solano. And again, getting the second run in that 10th inning, that was huge because the Giants would score their automatic runner to make it 4-3. But that was it in the 10th inning. So as we always talk about, getting multiple runs in the extra innings, it is so, so important. So yeah, Peralta, our play of the game with the RBI single, but Solano driving in that run, just putting the ball in play, putting some pressure on the Giants' infield defense. That was, I think you could argue, equally as big, getting that second run, making it 4-2, and the Padres ultimately go on to win this game by a final score of 4-3. As always, if you missed any of our post-game show, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. And if you want to go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel, you can watch any portion of our post-game show there as well. By the way, just before we go, so you understand where things are in the NL wild card with the Padres winning, the Diamondbacks winning, and the Mets losing. Again, the Braves are playing the Dodgers right now. Padres at the moment still have just a game-and-a-half lead on Arizona. Padres in the top wild card spot. Arizona in the number 2 wild card spot. Atlanta, for the moment, they're in the third and final wild card spot. Mets are a half game behind. If the Braves lose, Mets and Braves would be tied again for that third and final spot. If the Braves win, they'd have a game lead on New York for that final spot. And again, with the Dodgers playing the Braves right now, Padres at the moment 3 games behind LA for first place in the NL West. If the Dodgers lose, Padres would be 2.5 back. If the Dodgers win in Atlanta, they would go back to being 3.5 games back of LA for first place in the NL West. A look ahead to tomorrow. First pitch at 6:40. Our pregame coverage from Petco Park begins at 5:40. It'll be right-hander Spencer Arrighetti on the mound for the Astros. Right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Final totals here today for the Padres: 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 6. For the Giants, 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. They left on 3. Winning pitcher Robert Suarez, who improves to winning pitcher was Robert Suarez, yes, who improves to a record of, let me make sure here, 9-3 on the year. He's the winning pitcher despite recording a blown save in this game as well. Camilo Doval drops to 5-3, and the save goes to Adrian Morejon, his second of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 42 minutes. The crowd in San Francisco at Oracle Park, 33,800. 43. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from inside our San Diego studios. Again, our final score here today: in 10 innings, the San Diego Padres 4 and the San Francisco Giants 3. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Stay tuned. It's Sunday Night Football. The Bears and the Texans coming up.
Thanks for joining us for today's game. For the best coverage of the San Diego Padres, stay tuned to San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Thank you for listening to this